You felt it before. That moment when one specific person walks into a room and something shifts inside you. Not a decision, not a choice, a shift. You still feel it. Right now, with every tool ever invented to explain it, dating apps, therapy, neuroscience, relationship podcasts, you still can't fully make sense of it. Because that feeling isn't modern, it's 300,000 years old. And what archaeologists found about how your ancestors loved will change everything you think you know about what's happening inside you right now. In 1992, biological anthropologist Helen Fisher at Rutgers University scanned the brains of people in love, not people who said they were in love, people who were destroyed by it, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, spent hours replaying one conversation in their head. She expected the emotional centers to light up. They didn't. What lit up was the caudate nucleus, one of the oldest structures in the human brain, the same region that fires during cocaine use, the same region that activates when you are genuinely starving and food appears in front of you. Fisher called it a drive, not an emotion, like hunger, like thirst, something your body does to you, not something you choose. Then she ran the same experiment across 37 completely different cultures, different continents, different languages, different centuries of tradition, identical brain response every single time, not 35 out of 37, every single one, which means love isn't cultural, it isn't something movies programmed into you, it isn't something society invented, it's the oldest hardware you have. It was running inside people 300,000 years ago, before language, before fire had been fully mastered. The same hardware, the same pull, the same confusion, just like you. But here's the question nobody asks. If it's that old, what did it actually look like before we had a word for it? We'll get there. But first you need to see what they left behind. Picture this. It's 10,000 years ago. Night. A hillside in what will one day become Spain. Someone is kneeling in the dark. They've been here for hours. In front of them, two bodies, a man and a woman. This person arranges them carefully, positions their foreheads so they're touching. Then they reach for the red ochre, a pigment they ground from stone, mixed by hand, carried here specifically for this moment. They spread it across the earth around the bodies. Nobody told them to do this. No law required it. No religion demanded it. They did it because they couldn't not do it. Then they sealed the grave and walked away, and nobody found it for 10,000 years. Archaeologists uncovered this burial in 2021 at a site called Pinar del Olmo, but that's not the oldest evidence. Go back further, 2013. Valdaro, northern Italy, two skeletons, buried face to face, arms wrapped around each other, legs intertwined. Someone arranged them this way before sealing the grave forever. Someone spent time on this, made it deliberate. Archaeologists called them the lovers of Valdaro, 6,000 years old, still not the oldest, 430,000 years ago, northern Spain. A cave called Cima de los Huesos, the pit of bones, 28 bodies at the bottom of a 13-meter shaft carved into solid rock. Picture the people who did this. They're carrying torches. The shaft is narrow. They lower each body down one by one into complete darkness. It takes hours. There is no practical reason to do any of this. Nobody is watching. Nobody is keeping score. They do it anyway. These weren't modern humans. They were Homo heidelbergensis, a species that came before us by hundreds of thousands of years. No religion, no law, no cultural expectation. Just the feeling that some people matter so much that you can't just leave them. You know, you felt that too when you lost someone, when you couldn't just walk away. That feeling is at least 430,000 years old. But there's something even stranger, and it comes from a place where the word love didn't exist at all. In 2004, anthropologist Thomas Gregor at Vanderbilt University spent years with the Mehenaku people of the Brazilian Amazon. No contact with the modern world, no movies, no love songs, no cultural framework for romantic attachment whatsoever. Young men in the tribe described sleeplessness over specific women, loss of appetite, a physical pull in their chest. They had no language to explain an irrational, total preference for one person over everyone else, your symptoms, exactly. Without a word for it, without permission to feel it, just the feeling, raw, unnamed, identical, and they also felt jealousy. Gregor documented that Mehenaku men would track the movements of the women they were drawn to, would notice immediately if another man spoke to her too long. Their bodies would tighten, their mood would collapse. An irrational consuming response to a threat they couldn't name. You felt that too. Evolutionary psychologist David Bass at the University of Texas tested jealousy responses across 37 cultures in 1992, published in Psychological Science. Same number Fisher had studied for love. Same result. Jealousy specific, targeted, irrational, showed up in every single culture, regardless of whether that culture had any concept of romantic exclusivity. Jealousy isn't taught. It's a feature built into the same ancient hardware as the pull itself. 300,000 years ago, someone felt their chest tighten when another person got too close to someone they cared about. No word for it, just the tightening, exactly like you. Now, here's the part that changes everything. For most of human history, love wasn't designed to last forever. In 2006, Helen Fisher published research in the journal Human Nature. Her finding, human pair bonding evolved in roughly 4-year cycles. 4 years. Long enough to raise a child through the most dangerous years of infancy. Then the neurochemistry would shift. The obsessive pull would quiet. Both people would be free. Here's the number that makes this real. Before agriculture, the average human lived in a group of roughly 150 people. You knew all of them. They knew you. If a pair bond dissolved, the group absorbed it. Life continued. You probably know fewer than 10 people well enough to call at 2 in the morning. Your ancestors knew 150. Then about 10,000 years ago, everything changed. Humans in the Fertile Crescent began farming. Land became property. Property needed heirs. Heirs needed certain fathers. Certain fathers needed wives they could be sure of. Marriage wasn't invented for love. Marriage was invented for land. For the first time in 300,000 years, the feeling in your caudate nucleus was legally bound to one person forever by contract, enforced by society. And the idea that one person should be everything, romantic partner, best friend, co-parent, financial ally, emotional anchor for 70 or 80 years, that is not ancient wisdom. That idea is 10,000 years old. In evolutionary terms, it arrived this morning. So here's where you are now. That pull you felt, the one that makes no rational sense, has been running in human brains for 300,000 years. Your ancestors felt it around fires with no word for it. They buried the people they loved with their foreheads touching, and red ochre spread carefully across the earth. They lowered bodies into pits in complete darkness because something in them simply could not walk away. They felt jealousy, longing, the specific pain of wanting one person and not being able to have them. And then we built a system around all of it. Dating apps, marriage contracts, anniversary dinners, couples therapy, entire industries designed to help you manage the oldest feeling in human existence. We turned something 300,000 years old into something that needs to be optimized. But underneath every swipe, every first date, every sleepless night, every moment, you couldn't stop thinking about one specific person, the same caudate nucleus, firing, the same drive that had no name. The same thing a person felt 300,000 years ago, standing in the dark, looking at someone across a fire. We traded love in cycles for love in contracts. We traded 150 people who knew you for one person who was supposed to be everything. We traded the freedom to feel it without a word for the obligation to make it work. We called it civilization. Most of us never questioned it. If this changed how you see yourself, subscribe. That's exactly what this channel's about.